Hi, in this video we are going to analyze indexing counter of arrays and vectors in C++. For this demonstration, we like to use the following tools. We need to have developer command prompt provided by Visual Studio 2012 or any of the superior version you can use. The next tool which we will use is an Ollie's debugger. Using this, we are going to analyze our C++ program and we are going to understand how data segments, stack segments, operational codes work. In order to proceed further, let's get started with a demo application. On our machine, in competitive directory, I have an application created within my demonstration 2, and this demonstration 2 looks somewhat like this. This is a sample C program which we were discussing in the last segment. Here you have included the following namespaces, following packages. We have got a main function wherein we have initialized an array. This array has 8 elements in it. Then we have allotted the elements onto a vector. After allotment, we have sorted the vector. And finally, we have printed the vector out. In this program, the main question is, when we are converting integer array into a vector, we are beginning that we like to get started with index 1 of the myIntegers array and use from the index 1 that starts from 0 up till the 7th index, that means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are going to put in 8 elements into the vector. Once we will compile the program and we'll run this, we can see that by chance we may skip one element, and why it is happening, we are going to understand that. So let's just save the program. I'm going to open my developer command prompt. On this developer command prompt, we'll go to the directory competitive. Here within the demo2 directory, we have our program demo2.cpp. So we are going to compile the program. Let's compile the program using CL. An executable has been created. Now in order to analyze this executable, we are going to use Ollie's debugger. But before that, I would like to test the application. So since I execute demo2.exe, you can see that since I have taken the following elements from the application, let's say we have taken the variables from 32, 71, 12, 45, 26, 80, 53 and 33, only 7 elements have been printed out onto the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what exactly we did, we tried to execute a program which started from index 0 and we have added plus 7 index that equals to the 8th index. Now we are going to understand how things works in a debugger and why we face this issue. So in order to do that, I'm going to open my Ollie's debugger program, and I have kept that in my directory office odbg. And within this Ollie's debugger, you can freely download this application from internet. I'm going to run this program as an administrator. Once my Ollie's debugger is running, I would like to open an application, and this application will be my demo2 application within my competitive directory. In the demo2 directory, we have demo2.exe. We're going to open this. Once we have opened this, you can see that we have many windows available here. The first window is your CPU window. Second window is the registers window. Third window is the memory window. And fourth window is the stack window. Now we are going to make use of all these 4 windows, and we are going to understand how we can analyze this demo2.exe application. So in order to do this, once this application has been loaded, you can see that it is running at the moment. This application is running under Ollie's DBG program. So now we are going to play the application. Once you have played the application is running, and in the critical section it is at the paused state at the moment. Now once we click this application, it will play and reach to end of the application. So now if you see here, we have got the output somewhat like my vector contains 12 to some value, and they have been sorted in an order, but only 7 values have been represented. Now what we have to do, we have to pause the program in between, and we want to execute every single instruction step by step. In order to do that, let's just reload the program, restart the program. Once we restart the program here, the program has been restarted. We are running the program. Once we have executed the program, now we like to search for some string which has been written here, and in the program you can see that we have written one string known as my vector contains. So using Ollie's debugger, we can search for strings, and then we can set breakpoints on our application, and then we can execute every individual instruction step by step. To do that, on Ollie's debugger program, within the CPU window, we are going to right click. We'll go to search for all referenced text strings available in our application. Once we click on this option here, you can see that the first string we get is my vector contains. We're going to double click on this text string so that we can reach to the actual outset. So once we have reached here, we have reached to the actual offset where this string has been defined. And if we go a little up, we can see that here the program structure, the subroutine, the main subroutine has started from this element push EBP 5, and it has been executed up till the end statement return. So this block belongs to all the instructions which has been executed within your current program, this program. Now, so what we need to do, we want to put the breakpoint on the very first instruction, and we are going to play the application again. So you can double click on the opcodes here to set a breakpoint. Once you will double click here, you can see that this red color defines a breakpoint has been set. In order to remove a breakpoint, you can again double click on this element and the breakpoints will be removed. So let's just put a breakpoint here so that we can execute the program and we can pause the program at the actual instruction, that is push EBP. Let's just quickly restart the application. Let's say yes. We are going to play the application, and now this time once we play the application again, we can see that the application has stopped at the breakpoint set. Now we have reached to the breakpoint here. On the right hand side we have the important registers which we will understand in the coming next minutes. Then we have a stack window here, and we want to monitor the base pointer, stack pointer, and the individual values which are available on the stack. Now you can see that the currently selected address on the stack is 41FF44, and if you proceed down, you can see that the addresses are increasing. So at the bottom we have higher addresses, and the upwards we have lower addresses. As far as a computer program is concerned, computer programs work from higher memory addresses to lower memory addresses. So this means the computer programs will execute from higher addresses to lower addresses. Now, what we want to identify the base pointer and stack pointer. So I recommend you to right click on your address, go to address, and show the addresses relative to your base pointer. So you can click the option relative to EBP, and now you can see that before execution of your subroutine, that is your main function here, the base pointer is currently pointing to this address, and on this address we have a specific value 0041FF94. This value is an address where some instruction is available. You can reach to that instruction by right clicking on this value, and you can click on the option follow and dump. So once you click on follow and dump, you can see that On this address we have some value stored, and this is a binary which we cannot view from the plain eyes. Now this point is the stack pointer where currently the stack is pointing to. So now since we want to return to this subroutine, we will like to push in the values. So what this push EBP will do, it will push the base pointer's value, that is the current address of the base pointer will be stored at EBP 48, that is just away from 48 bytes away from your base pointer. So now let's just push the instruction, and you can see that the value 0041FF88 has been pushed into the stack, and this has been pushed because once the program is completed we need to return back to the last code, and we will point to this instruction, and this address actually points to the NTDLL program, which is your kernel. So your application will return to the kernel for the next course of action. So now let's just come to the next point. Once we execute the instructions, I don't want to explain every individual instruction here. I just want to focus on arrays and vectors in this video. So actually the instructions start from here, wherein first of all the value of EX has been pushed into EBP-4. That means at this particular place you can see that EBP-4 will be saved with the EAX values register. So EAX contains some values, and this EAX value, which is somewhat like this is the instruction, or it can be an input or an output. So this has been stored on the stack segment, and SS stands for the stack segment here, and on the stack segment at the address EBP-4 this value has been stored, 8AA629AA, which was available in the stack. Now what we'll do in the next instruction, we are going to push hexadecimal 20 into the base pointer 24. So what we are doing exactly, we have 8 values, so just away from this 4 we are going to add values, and 24 has been taken because every individual value will take 4 bytes. Okay, now so once we are going to push this 20, this 20 actually points to the hexadecimal 20, and if you open the programmer's calculator and if you open the value of hex and if you convert that into decimal, it becomes 32, and this 32 value points to the first value which is going to be inserted. So decimal values will be converted into hex and will be stored into the arrays. So now what next we need to do, as soon as we insert this instruction, as soon as we step over to the next instruction, you can see that 20, that means your 32 has been inserted at EBP-4 on the stack segment, and if we go to EBP-24 at the moment, here you can see that your value 32 has been inserted here. Now as soon as we proceed next, you can see here all the individual elements of the arrays will be added onto your stack. So once the next instruction has been executed, all the values will be increasing here, 20, 47, OC, 2D, all these values up till your last value, that is hexadecimal 21, which is 33 in decimal. So all these values from 20 to 21 has been inserted onto the stack. Now you can see that variables are inserted from lower addresses to higher addresses in the stack. So we have the first element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 elements have been added in the arrays. Now push 0 will be inserted at the current stack pointer, and the stack pointer is this EBP-44. This is the current stack pointer, and this is always denoted with black. Now once we push the elements, you can see that here some zeros has been inserted here, and now we will proceed with the next arguments. Now here we are going to initialize the vectors. Inside these vectors, first of all we are going to push the value of the EAX, which is going to contain EBP-8, and this EBP-8 actually contains the value of your last element. So we are going to insert the value of the last element, and we are going to push that value onto the stack so that we can remember which is the last element of the array, in the vector, which has to be pushed onto a vector. So now once we click on next, push EAX, you can see that on EAX the address of 0041FF38 has been pushed, and this value actually points to 0021, and this is the last element which has been stored. So now once here we have reached to this, here you can understand with this operational code that the value which is pointed at the stack segment EBP minus 24, that is EBP minus 24 is like this value, that is 32, has been pushed onto the ECX, and then on the next instruction this value be pushed onto the current stack. So now here you can see that the max, first EBP minus 8, that is your last value which is 33. We have set a pointer from this higher address to this lower address. Okay, so this is how your values will be identified up till the 7th one, which is this line of code, my integer plus 7. So actually when you do my integer plus 7, it will actually point to the first element and the last element which is available on the stack, and it will be pushed in form of a vector. But once you continue next, and let's say we perform some operations on it, let's say a data operation will be performed and will be stored onto the EDX, and your sorting mechanism will be performed here. You will be able to push the values into ECX, and then you will go to the counter value. Now here you can see that the value from EBP minus 3C, which is your this value on the address 129D50, and if I follow that value into the dump D500, let's say that's a binary value at the moment. Let's just go to the counter next. We'll go to push ECX, and now you can see that ECX contains a specific value which we can follow in the stack, and on the stack here if we go down here, so it's a binary value at the moment. Let's say let's proceed the next course of action. Here onto the data register the value has been pushed, and now once we have pushed that onto the EDX, you can see that on EDX we have some value. We can right click on it, we can follow the value into the dump, and now you can see that we have got the values in the dump here. So in the data register, which is your EDX, you can see that the values which has been reached onto the vector, so they are like here. We can follow the values directly onto the stack as well, but let's say we will go through the values at the dump. So we are onto the register 01FF, which is like this, 01F7D88, and it is actually pointing to the value 20. And now this represents your vector representation after sort. Now you can see that the values here goes like 02047OC2D1A up till 35. Now if we count the values in the vector here at the moment before your vectors will be printed, you can see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 values has been inserted onto the data register. So this is why you can see that once we will play this application, finally the result we'll get will be only 7 elements will be printed. Now if we go back again, if I just close the program, if I go to this, and if I increment the value to 8th pointer, and if I save this application, if I compile this application again, and after compilation of the application, if I execute this application now, you can see that now this time we'll get the 8 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if we run this application again, we run that search for a string so that we can reach to the subroutine. Once we reach to the subroutine here, we are going to put a breakpoint somewhere, like at the EDX element. Let's just put the breakpoint here, and let's just play the application. Once we'll push the value onto the EDX, we can go to the EDX register here, and on EDX, if we follow the value into the dump, Now you can see that in the vector you will get all the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this means when you have initialized the array and you have pointed from my integer to plus 7, it has pointed to the last element. But actually what is required was, once the array from 20 to this hex 21 was being converted into a vector, then on this point EBP8, if we follow that selection and if we go for just run this selection, and let's just put a breakpoint here so that you can understand where we are. Let me just restart this application, play this application, run this application. So at this point, when we are identifying the base address of EBP minus 8 and we can view the address in the EBP here, you can see that EBP minus 8 points to the next value after your array. So that means it's pointing to the upper bound of the stack, and once you have got the upper bound of the stack, then you will be taking the lower bound value since where you want to get started with the counter, and we are setting the counter on EBP minus 28, and EBP minus 28 points to your first element, that is 0020. So in this case, once the counter will be set, so ECX will store the value of the next instruction, next offset, which is just next to your last element. So this time, if we go to the push statement here, let's say once we will push this ECX value onto the stack, you can see that on the stack this 0016 FA10 has been pushed onto the stack, and this, if you follow the value into the stack, you can see that it's FA10 EBP28 points to your 20 element. So EAX points to your element, your upper bound for the last element, and your counter points to the first element, and once the loop goes through or the sorting will be performed, so every individual element will be taken. So let's just play the application, and finally once we have played the application, you can see that you will get all the 4 elements, all the 8 elements, and the elements will be sorted. So I hope you understand the logical information about how indexes, counter registers work for arrays and vectors. So thank you for watching the video.